Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, audiophiles and music lovers. Today I'll be reviewing the Technics SL1210GR2 turntable. I hope you enjoy this. Technics is a venerable manufacturer of audio equipment, especially well known for their turntables. The distant ancestor of today's review subject was the SL1200, dating from 1972. From the beginning, Technics used a direct drive motor system because it offers solutions to problems of speed stability and accuracy that would be of benefit to audiophiles. Almost from the beginning, DJs recognized certain advantages of the design and of Technics' quality levels, and the SL1200 series became the de facto standard in the DJ world. These two features, direct drive and DJ usage, provide ample material for misunderstandings about Technics turntables for audio use. Technics recognizes that in the audiophile market, some people feel that direct drive turntables are plagued by something called cogging, which amounts to a slightly uneven speed fluctuation several times per revolution as the motor and its magnet structure interact. To address this, Technics has developed a coreless motor design which effectively doesn't have variations in the field of the motor system and thus theoretically can't experience cogging. Technics had previously developed a slew of other approaches to minimize turntable noise, so this latest move is mainly additive to their 50-year obsession with these issues. The DJ market became large enough that Technics eventually separated the SL1200 line into two groups. They take both markets, the DJ market and the audiophile market, very seriously, but they realize that there are specific details that matter in one market and not in the other. Motor torque is an example where DJs need higher torque or startup speed than audiophiles do. The SL1200GR is a new offering in the Technics line aimed at audiophiles. Priced at $2,200, the SL1200GR2 comes with a built-in tone arm. That arm has several attractive features, which include on-the-fly adjustable vertical tracking angle via a knob at the base of the arm. Also adjustable via a knob is anti-skating. The arm features a detachable head shell, which is an attractive asset during setup, and also because it allows the use of multiple cartridges with relative ease. The VTA and anti-skate knobs are calibrated so that you can more quickly switch between cartridges and get the setup for the next cartridge correct. The SL1200GR2 uses the non-cogging coreless motor and also features a new delta sigma drive system to further limit speed fluctuations, for example, those imposed by varying cartridge to groove friction. The tone arm has low stiction bearings and the feet are carefully designed to filter out common vibrations. There's more technology on hand, but suffice it to say, Technics is the kind of company that warms your little engineering heart, if that's your deal. They measure and refine and measure and refine and measure and refine. Oh, still my beating heart. All right, let's talk about sound quality, because that's what we're really here for. As I often say, it's hard to reason from technical details to sound quality, so we listen. And we compare what we hear to a meaningful reference, which is the absolute sound, that is, the sound of real instruments in real spaces. I set the SL1200GR2 up in our small listening room. We used our current reference system, which includes the Magico A5 speakers, PS Audio BHK 600 amps, Audio Research Ref 6 preamp, and the Hagel V10 phonostage, all wired with AudioQuest cables and Shunyata power. I used a HANA ML cartridge because we're familiar with it, and our sense is that a cartridge in this price range, $1,200, is what many SL1210GR buyers would buy. So the review turntable package here is about $5,000 all in. I used the Wally Tools protractor and the Analog Magic distortion measuring setup system. From the first record we played, it was clear that the SL1210GR2 delivers most of what analog lovers are looking for in a great turntable. The soundstage is wide, with impressively natural instrumental placement, remembering that precision isn't really the goal, but believability is. Instruments and voices are nicely delineated, with each having a sense of air around it, as you would hear live. I particularly enjoyed the reproduction of cymbals on the SL1210GR2. On Radiohead's In Rainbows, lightly struck cymbals seemed smooth and detailed, and you could clearly hear when the mixing engineer reduced the cymbal levels as more instruments came into the mix. Very nice. I also thought the balance on Taylor Swift's Evermore was well done. I use Taylor Swift albums as one reference for listening tests because the engineering seems well done and quite representative of what modern producers are trying to do. The bass on this album, via the SL1210GR2, is meaty without being overblown at all. Now, moving back in time, I love the sound of Enescu's Romanian Rhapsody No. 1 with Stokowski on RCA Victor Living Stereo. The tonal delicacy of the opening bars, combined with the layering of instruments as the piece proceeds, was simply wonderful. On Santana's Abraxas from 1970, the clarity of the instruments was impressive, and while this may surprise you, my experience with this mix is that the sound stage is smaller than on many rock or pop recordings from the modern era. The Technics presents this well in that it doesn't artificially try to make the band sound bigger than the recording. You just really shouldn't do that. Now, we come to a big point in any review of the sound quality of turntables. Most of us are used to thinking about sound quality in terms of frequency domain, that is, frequency response terms. But that, for the most part, is not where turntables differ. The big differences are in noise, and noise is a pesky thing to discuss. Noise, as I mean the term here, is not something you hear directly, as with wind noise in a car or tape hiss on tape recordings. That's largely because noise in high-end audio is at lower levels than those that allow you to hear the noise directly. So you might think, it doesn't matter then if I can't hear it, but you can hear it. To understand this, you have to think about how real instruments work in real spaces. Instruments are resonators. That means that when you pluck a guitar string or play a piano note, you get the fundamental tone, for example, 256 Hertz for middle C on a piano, and you get the harmonics of that note, 512 Hertz, 768 Hertz, and on and on. The harmonic signature is what makes a piano sound like a piano and a guitar sound like a guitar. Those harmonics are spread out over time. We sometimes refer to this as ringing. And, here's the important part, they generally diminish in level over time. The punchline is that as their level gets reduced toward the noise level of your stereo, then the harmonics are masked. You don't hear them as clearly. The same thing happens with reverb in the performance venue. First reflections are higher level than second, and second are higher level than third. Now combine harmonic decay with reverb, and you can see, I hope, that these small sounds are important to the sense of each instrument, what it sounds like, and it's being played in a real space. The punchline is that as their level gets reduced toward the noise level of your stereo, then the harmonics are masked. That means they're hidden. My sense is that the Technics SL1210GR2 does a very good job of delivering a low noise floor. But I wanted to put that in context, and Technics made this fairly simple. One of my reference turntables is the Technics SL1210GK. That's not the same as the 1200 or the 1210GR. That's the next turntable up in the Technics line. Using that lovable, removable head shell, I played a series of albums on both the SL1210GR2 and on the SL1210GK using the same HANA cartridge, each time set up for the specific turntable I was using it on. What did I hear? Very clearly, no pun intended, the image depth and instrumental air of the recordings on the SL1210GK were of a higher order. Now, that turntable costs about twice as much as the SL1210GR2, so it should do something of musical value, and it does. The next question you might ask is that difference big? The $64,000 high-end question. I think it's in the category of, if you haven't heard it, you probably won't miss it. On the other hand, a lot of what very high-end audio is on a mission to provide is this ultra-low noise experience, and people spend tens of thousands of dollars to get it. In that sense, the more expensive Technics SL1200 occupies a sweet spot of price performance for those with systems in the $30K to maybe the $100K class. Works also for those who are aiming to get there someday. Below that price point, I think the SL1210GR2 does a marvelous job of delivering analog beauty, and a reasonable person might invest the savings in more records. I hope you've enjoyed this review of the Technics SL1210GR2 turntable. If you have, we'd invite you to sign up for our weekly newsletters, which contain many reviews and articles not found on YouTube. They're free, so what are you waiting for? You'll find a link in the description that takes you to the sign-up page. Thanks for watching.